Zander, and in this episode 4, 2 more stories will be featured. One featuring the old Changi hospital. So close your windows, turn off the lights, and enjoy the ride.
Well, good evening, and let me welcome you once again to my channel. I'm Jaden, and tonight I will be featuring 2 more stories for your listening pleasure. Well, the second story will feature the infamous old Changi hospital, but that is for later. Let's go on now with the first story. Well, the first story happened back in the late 80s and early 90s, if I'm not mistaken. And this was when I was still in school. And it happened during the Hari Raya season. And now, still the Hari Raya season, so I'm gonna feature this one anyway. Well, it happened one night when my parents, myself and my siblings were out Hari Raya visiting. On that particular night, after visiting all the houses, we were making our way back home. I was staying in the old house in Tampines, and along the way, we passed by my uncle's block of flats. So my dad decided to hey, why not we visit the uncle since we are so nearby. So my dad asked me, why don't I go up to my uncle's flat and to see whether he is at home, so at least we can go up and pay him a visit since it's Hari Raya. So I went up all by myself to I can't remember whether the 3rd level or the 4th level, somewhere around there. So I went up all by myself, alone. So I went up the staircase, climbed the staircase up to my uncle's unit. Upon arrival, I saw that the house was dark. It was dark, so I'm assuming that there was no one in, as maybe my uncle and his family were out visiting also. But nonetheless, I decided to knock on the door, and I did. I knocked on the door and waited for someone to open the door, but no one answered. Again, I knocked on the door, this time around a bit more louder than the first knock. And still I waited, and no one opened the door still. So what I did, I was very smart back then. What I did was I went over to the window just beside the main door and looked into the unit. My face was very close to the glass, to the window itself. But I was surprised because I know that there's no one in the house. But what really got me, what really shocked me, was the fact that someone or something on the inside was actually looking at me also. And this being, this I do not know what this entity has got two huge eyes looking at me with a grin on its face, and I was really taken aback. I was shocked. I jumped and I quickly made my way down without even looking back. I went down the staircase. I took a few steps down the staircase and I jumped. Luckily I was not injured. And I went down to the first level. I went over to my family and I told my dad that there's no one at home. No, uncle's not at home, so why don't we just go home then, since no one is there. So we made our way home, and till today that story have not been told. I've not told anyone that story until now. And on to the next story. Well, this one involves the old Changi hospital. And this happened back in 97 or 98, if I'm not mistaken, around that time frame. And we actually planned, myself and four of my friends, we actually planned to visit the old Changi hospital to go on an adventure for the longest time. But it was not till that particular day that we actually made our way up to the old Changi hospital. Well, what actually happened was that we met earlier around Changi. One of my friends, he drove his family car so that all of us can go up to Old Changi Hospital, because access by foot is gonna take quite a while, and we do not want to take that chance, as that area is also very scary. Okay, so we drove up. My friend picked us up around Changi, and we made our way up to Old Changi Hospital. I think we reached there at around 2+ in the morning, and the traffic back then, it was pretty clear, because it was a weekday morning and not much car was on the road. So we went up. We chatted along the way. We chatted. It took us about 20-30 minutes to reach Old Changi Hospital. But along the way, we chatted. We in the car, we joke around, and after a while, we turned into the road where Hendon Camp is, the commando camp is, and well, Old Changi Hospital. It holds memories for me, actually, because one of my colleague actually passed away at the A&E of the Old Changi Hospital. So I always wanted to go back there and visit that place. And yeah, so we made our way up to the Old Changi Hospital. The Old Changi Hospital, there are actually two entrances. Okay, one is via the road up to the A&E, and there is another road leading up to the wards at the back. Okay, and that is via another entrance. But we decided to go up through the A&E because I think it's much easier access. So we drove up. It was dark. I mean, it's like there were street lamps. There were street lamps all the way up to the Old Changi Hospital. But the Old Changi Hospital itself, once we reached there, it was dark. It was pitch black, and there were a lot of trees surrounding the Changi Hospital, the Old Changi Hospital. And the only thing that is actually helping is the moonlight. It was a full moon on that particular night, and the moonlight actually helped a bit. But once upon reaching the A&E, we prepared our torch lights, and we got out of the car. All five of us got out of the car. And once we got out, my friend locked the car using a car remote. So, but before that, we did tell each other that we are not going to split up. We are going to, the five of us are going to go in together, and the five of us are going to come out together. So, we went to the first level of the A&E. Now we are inside the Old Changi Hospital. Okay, it was pitch black. We had our torches with us. So we were going through the first level. Nothing much to see on the first level. Anyway, it's an old abandoned building, so there are a lot of stuff like back then. Abandoned stuff like a lot of wood on the floor. So not well kept anyway. So we tried to make our way up slow, so that we do not fall and injure ourselves. And well, since there's nothing on the first floor, a friend of mine decided, why don't we go up to the second level? Yeah, well, okay, fine. We go up to the second level. Maybe there's more things to see on the second level. So we made our way up slowly to the second level and walked down the corridor of the second level. And myself and a friend went into one of the rooms, and in one of the rooms is where it was where my colleague passed away. Okay, and after a while, this friend of mine, he was like looking around, and he suddenly looked out the window from the second floor to the car park below. And he kind of like looked puzzled, I guess, and he did call us out. It was not loud, it was like a whisper, but we all of us can hear because it was the dead of night. So he called out to my friend who's the driver. Let's name him Ahmad. Okay, so he was asking, "Hey Ahmad, just now when we left the car, you did lock the car, right?" And yeah, Ahmad said, yeah. I mean, it's like all of you saw that. I know once we got out of the car, we closed the door, and you saw that I used the car remote to lock the door. So yeah, it's locked lah. So I mean, it's like then this friend of mine said that, but you did lock the door. But how come all four doors now are open? All of us were like, huh? Like we were shocked. Myself and my friend from the room came out to join the other three outside. And true enough, the four door of the car is open, but earlier we saw Ahmad locking the door via the car remote. But we have no, okay, we were surprised, we were shocked. We have no answer for that, and we decided to quickly leave second floor. All of us, all five of us, we walked down the staircase, got into the car. We did not look back. Ahmad started the engine, and we left Old Changi Hospital. And that was the scary part, actually. Well, even though we did not encounter any supernatural beings, no ghosts or nothing, we did not hear any sounds or voices whatsoever. But the fact that we saw that the car was locked, and after that we saw all the four car doors were open to us, that was scary enough. And that was the first and the last time the five of us went up to the Old Changi Hospital.
And those are the two stories for tonight's entertainment. I do hope you are entertained, and I do hope that you will come back next week for episode 5. Till next week, I'm good.